Hi, this is Stephanie. So today I'm going to hit a hot topic, which is what are called failed adoptions. Now, when I say it's a hot topic, because right now there is a lot of word on the street about calling a failed adoption means that a mom who ultimately decides to parent her child is calling that a failure. And that's simply not what that means. It just simply means that the adoption process fell through and the plan did not carry through to adoption. That is all that a failed adoption means. It doesn't mean anything else beyond that. So we're going to talk about how to survive a failed adoption today. So when a family is matched with an expecting mom, they're pretty excited and they really would like to share this information with as many people as possible. But it's recommended that you don't share about your match, with a lot of different people, because if the mom does decide to parent and the adoption doesn't go through, then you have a lot of untelling to do as well. And so that can be really hard to do, is to have to do that when you're grieving the loss of this adoption opportunity. It will be important that when buying baby stuff, well, first of all, you don't need a lot of baby stuff before you adopt. And I have another video that I talk about that all you really need is a car seat when adopting. But if you do decide to buy baby stuff, or, you're at a garage sale and there's lots of great baby stuff, really super cheap, it's important that you just buy gender neutral stuff, and also not to really get personalized about this specific baby, because while the expecting mom is pregnant, that is still her baby. And until she decides to go through with an adoption plan into place, that baby is not yours. So it'll be important not to see that child as yours until the child is actually yours. So be sure you avoid personalizing anything that is specific to that particular child. I've said this many times before, but I recommend not having a baby shower before the baby arrives, because if the placement doesn't go through, then you have to look in the corner of this room at all this baby stuff and having to decide what to do with it. Return it, keep it, give it back to the giver, and then of course you have to announce to everyone who was at the shower that this particular placement didn't happen. And it's really hard when you've got a bunch of stuff and you just went through a shower. So we always recommend not having a baby shower until after your child arrives and the child is yours. So before I tell you my last point, I want to be sure I invite you to subscribe down below. If you want to receive adoption tips from me each week, you can do that. So my last advice is that if you do experience a failed adoption, it will be really important that you give yourself time to grieve and to say goodbye to that baby that you were hoping for, and to allow yourself time to, before you pick up the adoption process before. Some families are able to move through that grief process a little faster than others, but when you do get yourself back into the adoption plan, it will be important that when you are matched with another expecting mom, I always say remain cautiously optimistic, but what's important is that a lot of times if a family has gone through a failed adoption, they will naturally pull away from this new mom, fearful that she is also going to change her mind. But it's important not to punish this new mom. She is not the one who changed her mind about the adoption plan, and you should not put that on her. So you need to know that these are two separate situations, and that this mom deserves your attention and your excitement just as much as the first mom did. So be sure you don't create a self-fulfilling prophecy by carrying old hurts and feelings into this new adoption situation, and realize that she is her own person and she is a new mom and she is not the one who changed her mind on you. So be careful about that when moving forward, and that's why it's important to take the time to grieve the last adoption situation so you can enter into the new situation with the same excitement that you did the first time. So just remember that when you're looking at adoption, you got to start somewhere.